Right now, onto this story. Teenage pregnancy in schools continues to be one of the major challenges in our country. The Education Department has gazetted a policy on the prevention and management of pregnancy in schools. This will compel schools to report occurrences if the father is older than the age of 16. To get some reaction now, we speak to Sadtu General Secretary Mugwena Maluleke. Thank you very much for your time here on SA tonight. Now, of course, I imagine that you welcome this gazetted policy by the Education Department to tackle teenage pregnancy.
Good evening, and good evening to your viewers at home. Indeed, we welcome the policy that has been developed and gazetted by the Minister of Basic Education, precisely because it is going to protect the rights of our children, but also the fundamental objective of this particular policy is to ensure that we are able to tackle early teenage pregnancy so that our learners and our children are able to complete their studies without them having to be confronted with the realities of having to raise a child whilst they're still young, but also in certain instances having to have children that do not have their fathers because their fathers have ran away. So this policy really is going to help us to make sure that we identify who is the person who has impregnated this particular learner, and if indeed the father of the child is above 18 years old, he will have to face the law, so that at the end of the day must answer, and then if there is a case, then the person must be able to answer for that case.
Now, of course, Mr. Maluleke, we've seen that in some cases the teachers are the ones who are found wanting.
Yes, already the teachers know that they cannot have a sexual relationship with the learner. They know that they will be suspended and they will be expelled, because it is in terms of Section 17 of the Employment of Educators Act that when you are found guilty of sexual relationship with a learner as a teacher, you are dismissed. So it's a dismissible case, and the teachers already, they know that. And therefore, what really pleases us is that it is not only the teachers now, it is also those who are outside the education sector that will have got to be followed, because what has been happening is that most of our learners were impregnated by people who are in the communities, and therefore knowing very well that there's nothing that is going to happen. So the teachers know it's not something that we celebrate. We're not celebrating, because when you are dismissed, it's the family that suffers. And when you are dismissed, it's our learners who are going to suffer, because it is not easy to always replace a very good, experienced teacher. But also, we do not want a system where we have a profession that has got, sex pests. We don't want people who prey on our children, who prey on our learners, because we have taken an oath. We are in loco parentis, and therefore we have got to behave professionally and as parents in order to help the learners realize their full potential. So the teachers know this, and the education support personnel in our school, they know this.
So the teachers then don't mind the fact that this means that as the school and as stakeholders at the school, maybe with GBV or rather with the SGB, they are supposed to also do some legwork before reporting to the police. Of course, they need to make sure that they're correct in the fact that the father of that child is allegedly a statutory rapist and is above the age of 18. Are they okay with the fact that this adds on to their work?
Well, no, it does not necessarily add on their work, because this is going to be done by the principal and the departmental officials. What happens here is that there's going to be a subcommittee, and that particular subcommittee will also have some task team that is going to help it. So the principal will just report and say, my learner at the school is 16 years old, is pregnant, and therefore report that particular matter to the department, and the department will do the tracing, because the teachers will have got to concentrate on what they are trained to do, being to teach, and is the responsibility of the teenage learner who also has got to cooperate with the Department of Education in terms of that particular subcommittee, because the subcommittee will be constituted by a number of people, including the Department of Social Department, which has got social workers and psychologists, and also some therapists who then will be supporting this particular learner. So we do not see it as an additional responsibility responsibility is the law. It has got to be implemented, and we have got to comply with it, because it's not that the law was written yesterday. It is the policy that seeks to really tackle the issue of teenage pregnancy and gender-based violence, but also protecting the future of these particular children. So the law has always been there, and therefore some of us as principal have done this thing. We have reported this thing to the Child Protection Unit when our learners were pregnant long time ago.
And what do you think should happen, Dr. Maluleke, to those teachers or principals or SGB officials at schools who decide not to report this, and then it's found that in that particular school this many girls didn't come to school, and when you try trace you find that they are actually pregnant or had children? What do you think should happen in that case?
Unfortunately, the law will take its course, because as a person responsible for the school, your duty as the principal is to protect the interest of the learners. That's your duty. You have to do everything you can to make sure that each and every learner at the level of the school is not subjected to any abuse. Their dignity is respected. So you shall have not complied with the law, and the law shall take its course, and therefore you cannot blame any other person. Of course, we as a union will have to represent such a person when is charged. Not that we're defending such a conduct, but that particular conduct is counter-revolutionary, that conduct would be unprofessional, and that conduct would be unparental.
Absolutely. And just very quickly, Mr. Maluleke, your plea at least to the parents who are also stakeholders. I mean, we've covered stories here at eNCA where a parent will make the decision that they'll hide their daughters and not let them go to school because they're so embarrassed by the pregnancy. Your plea as Sadtu to those parents?
Our plea as an organization is simple, is that love your children as you love yourself. Make sure that you protect their future and do not be complicit to crime that has been committed by someone else. Whether you're poor, whether you're rich, you still have dignity, and you have got to respect that dignity of your own child. So do not be undermined because of your socio-economic background. That does not matter. It is about humanity. It is about the life of your child. Stand up, report the case.